Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am to complete this countdown of reviews for my picks for the top 10 best animated DreamWorks movies, with my review of my choice for number 1, which is, as I'm sure just about all you predicted, Shrek. So what can I say about this film people haven't said already? I mean, Shrek really is just like a masterpiece, really. I mean, Shrek really is just, people have loved it since its original release. And yeah, Shrek is just like a really great film. I mean, I of course like loved it as a little kid, and I still do love it to this day. I mean, yeah, Shrek it just really is a great film. I mean, yeah, people have just like riffed to death about it. I mean, they just love the story, they love the characters, they love the humor, they love all the romance and stuff. Yeah, I mean, just yeah, Shrek really just has it all, really. I mean, watching Nostalgia Critic Mortuary review for this movie, and he said that he doesn't like this movie because he just felt that this really was not the story that he was wanting to see with this film, and he just felt that this film really was lacking. I'm not sure really what it was he was really wanting to see for this movie. Well, yeah, I know what he was expecting. Like, he was expecting, like, the story that was in the second film to be in this movie. But, yeah, he just really didn't like the story, or, well, he just really didn't like it because he was just really bored by, like, most of this film really just being Shrek and Donkey talking and stuff, and he just didn't really find it all that funny. But yeah, I'm really not sure. Like, I think he just has a death wish, really, to just say he doesn't like this film, because who just really actually has the balls enough to say that they don't like it and really expect not to really get just a bunch of people coming after him. So yeah, I think he might just have a death wish saying he doesn't like this film. But yeah, Shrek really is just like a great film. People have just loved it. I mean, it really has just like really become a phenomenon among films. And yeah, people have just really said that. Well, there's some people that really want to say that like Shrek is perfect, but it's not. I mean, Shrek really does have some flaws with it, but yeah, it really just is like what's good is just really really good. What's good is just like great, really. Yeah, Shrek really is just a great film. I can't say that enough. So yeah, this movie of course like has like Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and John Lithgow, and they all do really good. Yeah, for all the and a little bit of trivia for you guys. For those of you who don't know, originally like in this film, Shrek didn't originally have a Scottish accent in this film. During the like when the original recording for the dialogue in this film, Mike Myers actually like voice Shrek with just like a regular American accent, but I guess like Mike Myers just didn't like the way it sounded, and he ended up like wanting to re-record his like Scottish accent. But yeah, originally like Shrek actually did have a regular American accent. You can actually hear like Shrek with the American accent in like the technical goofs feature on the DVD for the film. I mean, yeah, I'll put that in the description box if you want to hear like Shrek with an American accent rather than the Scottish accent he ended up having. So yeah, that's a little bit of trivia for you right there. But yeah, of course, like this film just really is like so great. People, of course, as I've been saying, they love it. They just continue to talk about it. It just really is like a lot of people's favorite films. And yeah, was there really any doubt that this was really going to be number one on this list? Because, yeah, I mean, yeah, people just really do love Shrek, and Shrek is just like a really great film. I give Shrek probably, I can't quite go like 4 stars out of 4 with this because, I don't know, I just really think that the flaws that it does have kind of like prevent it from being like a perfect film. Well, so, yeah, I just continue to give Shrek 3.75 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, Shrek definitely is like a really great film, and yeah, it definitely has just like yeah, everyone loves the film except for Nostalgia Critic probably, and yeah, Shrek is just like a huge hit, and people just love it. All right, so yeah, let me just get right into it. All right, so as the film opens up, like it opens up with the DreamWorks logo, at the end of the DreamWorks logo, like the S's in the title, or well, in the DreamWorks name, actually like changed to like be like the Shrek style, like this right here, like this type of S right here, is what the S in the DreamWorks logo turns into, yeah. And then, yeah, it just like opens up, and then, yeah, it shows like Shrek is like reading a story about a princess, and it's just like a princess had an enchantment upon her that could only be broken by love's first kiss, and she was locked away in a castle guarded by a dragon, and no knights were able to free her, and the princess was just waiting for her true love to save her and stuff, yeah. And yeah, I forgot to mention, like, this film also, of course, like, has a bunch of music to it, a lot of great songs in here. Of course, like, you have All Star and I'm a Believer by Smash Mouth. You have, like, A Bad Reputation, I'm on My Way, Hallelujah, you know, just, like, a bunch of really good songs in this film. Alright, yeah, so anyway, and, yeah, and then, like, just showing Shrek living his life on his own in his swamp, yeah. And it eventually, like, shows then, like, Shrek ends up, like, scaring away some villagers that are trying to capture him and stuff. And then it shows, like, there's, like, a bunch of fairy tale creatures that are, like, being, like, sold to, like, Lord Farquaad and stuff. And then, like, there's a talking donkey that's trying to be sold to him. And, like, the donkey wasn't, like, talking at first, but then, like, he ended up, like, talking, and then, yeah, the knights ended up, like, chasing him. But, yeah, he, like, ran into Shrek, and Shrek ended up scaring the knights off. Yeah, and yeah, Shrek was trying to, like, scare Donkey off. But Donkey wasn't scared, and he just really wasn't bothered by Shrek being an ogre or anything, and he actually did like Shrek, but and yeah, and then, like, Donkey, like, asked Shrek if he could stay the night, and Shrek let him, but he made Donkey just stay outside the all while he was there for one night. And during that night, then, like, a bunch of fairy tale creatures ended up, like, being in Shrek's swamp, that ended up being exiled there. There was, like, 3 blind mice, there was Pinocchio, Snow White, and 7 dwarfs, there was, 3 bears, yeah, just, like, a bunch of those fairy tale creatures. Yeah, and, like, 3 little pigs, and, yeah, everyone else like that, yeah. And, yeah, once, like, the fairy tale creatures told Shrek that Lord Farquaad forced them to go there, and Shrek, like, wanted to find Lord Farquaad to get his swamp back, and then, yeah, Donkey then, like, took Shrek to lead him to Duloc, which was Lord Farquaad's, like, village, or kingdom, to talk to him to get his swamp back, yeah. And then, in Duloc, it then, like, showed Lord Farquaad was, like, interrogating the gingerbread man, and then, like, the knights ended up bringing in, like, the magic mirror for Lord Farquaad to talk to, and the mirror was telling Lord Farquaad that he actually was not a king yet, but to become one, all he had to do was marry a princess, and, yeah, the mirror was just then showing, like, 3 eligible bachelorettes for Lord Farquaad to choose to marry. There was, Cinderella, Snow White, and then Princess Fiona. And yes, Lord Farquaad ended up choosing Princess Fiona. And in order to choose somebody to go and rescue Princess Fiona, Lord Farquaad then, like, held a tournament for the knights. Right, yeah. And then the next day, Shrek then, along with Donkey, arrived in Duloc. And then, of course, then they had, like, that whole Duloc is a perfect place segment, like the info on Duloc and stuff, yeah. And Shrek then, like, ended up, like, walking in on the Knights tournament. And then Lord Farquaad then decided to come up with a new plan for whoever would kill Shrek would go after Fiona. And yeah, Shrek then ended up just taking out all the knights in, like, a wrestling ring. And yeah, during this whole, like, wrestling montage thing, like, Shrek was, like, making a few WWE references. Like, he had one knight an ankle lock, which was a reference to Kurt Angle. He gave one knight a tombstone, which was a reference to The Undertaker. And then afterwards, he was, like, posing as Hulk Hogan, like, making a Hulk Hogan reference. Yeah. And then, you know, Lord Farquaad then decided to name Shrek the champion. And, yeah, Shrek was telling Lord Farquaad about his swamp, and Lord Farquaad just told Shrek that if he would go on the quest and rescue Princess Fiona, that he would give Shrek the swamp back. Yeah, and then, yeah, Shrek and Donkey then just journeyed off to the Keep of the Dragon to rescue Fiona, and during that whole thing we had the whole ogres are like onions thing, with onions having layers and stuff, yeah. And, yeah, they eventually then arrived at the Dragon's Keep, and then they crossed the bridge over the lava and stuff, yeah. And they eventually did come across the dragon, and, yeah, the dragon was chasing down Shrek and Donkey, and as Shrek was, like, holding onto the dragon's tail. The dragon then just like was swinging Shrek around and eventually like flung Shrek off. And then yeah, Shrek just ended up flying right into the tower that Fiona was in. And as like the dragon had Donkey like cornered, and then like as Donkey was like really trying to like sweet talk to the dragon, it was then like Donkey then figured out that dragon was a girl, and yeah, the dragon then ended up like falling in love with Donkey and carried Donkey back to her chambers with him. Yeah, and then yeah, Shrek ended up then finding Fiona and then broke her out and stuff, and then yeah, Shrek eventually ended up like saving Donkey too, and he like placed this like a chain collar kind of thing around Dragon's neck, and then yeah, Dragon then gave chase to Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona, and yeah, they eventually end up escaping after like Shrek placed a sword in a couple of the chain holes, and yeah, that allowed like Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey to escape since Dragon like couldn't move from the chain anymore. Yeah, and once they then escaped, and then like Shrek eventually ended up like removing the knight helmet that he had on after like basically Fiona demanded it, and then that's when Princess Fiona discovered Shrek was an ogre. Yeah. And once Shrek was explaining to Princess Fiona that Lord Farquaad sent him to save her, like Fiona wanted Lord Farquaad to just come rescue her himself, but then yeah, Shrek just then ended up like carrying Princess Fiona away with him. And yeah, and as they were like continuing to venture in the Duloc, like Princess Fiona just said since like they were gonna be traveling overnight that she needed to find a place to camp, and then yeah, Shrek and Donkey then like helped Fiona find a spot to camp and stuff, and yeah, it was of course like eventually revealed that Fiona did have a secret, which is why she needed to find a place to camp. Yeah, but I'll get to that later. And the next morning, like there was the funny scene where Fiona was like singing, and then a bird was like joining in, and then Fiona was just like singing so loud that it caused like the bird to explode. Which was really hilarious, yeah. And then later on, as like Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey were continuing to journey to Duloc, then like they had an encounter with Monsieur Hood, who was like trying to rescue Fiona and stuff. But then yeah, then like as Monsieur Hood and like his merry men were like trying to perform, then yeah, Fiona just laid them all out with like martial arts and stuff. Yeah. And over time, like, it showed that, like, Shrek and Fiona did have a lot in common and stuff like that. And there was this funny scene where, like, Fiona and Shrek were both, like, made balloons out of, like, a frog and a snake, which was hilarious. Yeah. And, yeah, during that night, as they were, like, really close to Duloc, like, as they were, like, settling down for the night and having some weed rat for dinner, Shrek and Fiona were, like, really, like starting to fall in love, but then like Fiona still like was really insistent on sleeping by herself at night. Yeah. And yeah, during the night then like Donkey went into like the windmill that Fiona was sheltering in to try to talk to her, and then it was then shown that Fiona was an ogre, and yeah, Fiona was just telling Donkey that she always turns into an ogre when the sun goes down because of a spell that a witch casted on her when she was really young, and in order to break that spell she needs to kiss her true love. Yeah, which is why she really felt that she needed to marry Lord Farquaad by the next day before he would actually see her like that. And as Fiona and Donkey were talking to each other about it, like Shrek was gonna like go in and like tell Fiona how she really felt about him, but then he like was overhearing the conversation, and like he was hearing Fiona say that who could love a beast hideous and ugly, and that princess and ugly really don't go together, and yeah, Shrek thought that Fiona was of course talking about him, and then yeah, Shrek just then stormed off angry. Yeah. And then Donkey was just like telling Fiona that she should tell Shrek about it, and then Fiona then decided to tell Shrek about it the next morning. But then, like, as she was about to tell him, like, then the sun rose, and then Fiona was transformed back into her human form. And then, like, then Shrek then showed up, but of course, like, he just was really, like, yeah, not happy at all, and he brought, like, Lord Farquaad to Fiona. And then, yeah, Shrek was then given back the deed to his swamp, and yeah, Shrek then was starting to storm off. And then yeah, Lord Farquaad then like proposed to Princess Fiona, and Fiona like accepted, but she just told Lord Farquaad that she wanted to get married on that day before the sun set, which Lord Farquaad agreed. And then yeah, Donkey was like trying to explain to Shrek what was going on, but Shrek like wasn't listening, and yeah, Shrek then just ended up like storming off back to the swamp without Donkey. And yeah, then just showed everyone being real depressed. Shrek being depressed, Donkey being depressed, and Fiona being depressed. Yeah, and then it showed like Donkey then like found Dragon again. And yeah, then Donkey returned back to Shrek's swamp, and yeah, Donkey was just like really furious, and then he was just like saying that he gets a half of the swamp since he like did half of the work with Shrek, and like yeah, Donkey really was like really trying to tell Shrek off, and then yeah, then he, like Shrek was like just telling Donkey that he heard the conversation Donkey and Fiona had, and he heard Fiona call him ugly, but then, yeah, Donkey then, of course, like, told Shrek that Fiona wasn't talking about Shrek, and she was talking about someone else, and then, yeah, Shrek and Donkey then did make amends, and then, yeah, Donkey was just telling Shrek that he should try to talk to Fiona, and then, yeah, he brought Dragon along, and Dragon flew both Shrek and Donkey back to Duloc during the wedding, and then, yeah, Shrek then, like, interrupted on the wedding before Lord Farquaad and Fiona kissed, and then, yeah, Shrek was then just telling Fiona that the only reason Lord Farquaad is marrying him is so he can be king, and that he's not really her true love. And once, like, Lord Farquaad saw really that Shrek really was in love with Fiona, like, him along with, like, everyone in the church was laughing. And then, like, as the sun was setting, then it showed Fiona then, like, transformed into an ogre again. And then, yeah, then that's when Shrek then, like, really then understood what Fiona was really talking about, and then yeah, Lord Farquaad really was just outraged of it, and then yeah, he just had like like the knights then just take Shrek and Fiona away, but then like as Lord Farquaad was just giving orders, then like Shrek then called for Dragon again, and then yeah, Dragon then bursted in along with Donkey, and then yeah, Dragon then just ate Lord Farquaad, and then burped the crown back up. And then, yeah, and Shrek and Fiona then, like, told each other that they loved each other, and then they ended up kissing. And then, yeah, that's when, like, Fiona then kissed her real true love, and then, yeah, she was then just, like, bathed in light and risen in the air. And, yeah, then, like, it broke the spell, but then it showed Fiona was actually still transformed into an ogre. And, yeah, Shrek told her that after Fiona said that she was supposed to be beautiful, Shrek told her that she is beautiful. And then it then cut to like Shrek and Fiona marrying in the swamp, and a bunch of the fairy tale creatures attended the wedding. And then, yeah, and then it showed like an onion was transformed into Shrek and Fiona's wedding carriage, and then they set off on the honeymoon. And yeah, it like had Smash Mouth's "I'm a Believer" starting to play. And then, like, it transitioned into, like, Donkey and the other fairy tale creatures then singing the song. And then, I thought it was funny, like, then, as it showed, like, Shrek and Fiona's carriage, like, setting off, like, it zoomed out from, like, a book. It said, "And they lived ugly ever after," which I thought was funny before the book closed and the movie ended. So, yeah, 3.75 stars out of 4. This is definitely a really great movie. I mean, yeah, probably DreamWorks' best works, probably of all time, really. It just really is, like, such a great film, and, yeah, I really have loved this film just like everybody else. I mean, yeah, I've always loved this film. Loved it when I was a little kid, and I still love it now. Just Shrek is just like a great film. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd say you definitely see it, but yeah, you already have. Obviously, everybody has seen this film. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Shrek is a really great film. Yeah, so yeah, alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of Shrek, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review, but yeah, before these videos actually end fully, of course, like, I have one more video to make to give my thoughts on the Shrek sequel, so yeah, my video to give my thoughts on those films will be coming up next as I end these DreamWorks videos, so yeah, stay tuned for that coming up as I finish off these videos, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I hope you guys did enjoy, like, the actual list now that I am, like, actually done with it now. Alright, so, yeah, anyway, so, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.